Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to today's Explainer. We're unpacking a truly beautiful, uplifting theme today, having the faith to move mountains toward dedication. Now, if you're on a spiritual journey right now, you've probably got this deeply held desire to reach that beautiful milestone of baptism. But as with any incredible journey, the path isn't always some perfectly flat, paved road. Think about why mountains are just such a perfect metaphor for our struggles. A literal mountain, it's ancient, it's seemingly immovable, it casts a massive shadow, and honestly, the biggest thing is that it completely blocks your view of what's on the other side. When we look up and see what looks like an impassable mountain standing right in our way, it can be terrifying. But today, we're going to see exactly how relying on Jehovah can help you completely overcome these massive hurdles. We're breaking down some incredibly encouraging assurances that are definitely going to shift your perspective on whatever is standing in your way right now. We absolutely have to start with this foundational reassurance from John chapter 3, verse 34. It says, "He does not give the Spirit sparingly." Before we even talk about obstacles or challenges or mountains, we need to ground ourselves in this one unshakable fact. Jehovah deeply, truly loves you. He wants you in his family. And because he wants you to succeed so badly, he doesn't hold back the help you need. I mean, think about what the word sparingly actually means. If someone gives sparingly, they're rationing, right? They're pinching pennies, handing out help in these tiny, reluctant drops. Well, that is not Jehovah. He is an infinite God with an overflowing reservoir of power, and he gives his active force, his Holy Spirit, generously to anyone who asks. It's an unlimited resource to help you succeed. So what that means is, no matter how steep the climb gets, you are never, ever attempting to scale these mountains alone. So that brings us to a very real, very personal question. What about your obstacles to baptism? You might be sitting there right now thinking about a massive, intimidating hurdle in your own life that feels exactly like a solid wall of rock. Maybe your mountain is intense family opposition, facing a wall of resistance or misunderstanding from the people you love the absolute most. Maybe it's a deeply ingrained habit that you've battled for years, and it just feels impossible to break. Or perhaps it's a crippling sense of anxiety or the fear of man that literally freezes you in your tracks. Well, the incredible truth we're exploring today is that Jehovah's invitation to join his family remains entirely open and true, absolutely no matter what specific obstacles you're currently facing. His love doesn't just magically disappear because the path got steep. Acknowledging these obstacles, that isn't a sign of failure or weakness. It's really just the reality of the journey. The question isn't whether you're going to face obstacles, but rather what kind of power you'll tap into to confront them. Think about this for a second. It's probably the most profound metaphor Jesus ever used, comparing a mustard seed to a literal mountain. Back in the ancient Middle East, the black mustard seed was famously microscopic. It's about 1 millimeter in size, basically just a tiny speck on the tip of your finger. Yet it could grow into a towering, robust plant up to 10 feet tall. Now contrast that tiny, almost invisible speck with a mountain. Think of Mount Hermon, which Jesus' disciples would have known really well. We are talking about millions of tons of immovable, ancient earth and stone. It's the ultimate contrast, right? The absolutely smallest, most seemingly insignificant thing you can hold in the palm of your hand compared to the largest, most insurmountable obstacle on the face of the earth. And this brilliantly illustrates the exact point Jesus was making to his followers. In Matthew 17:20, he says, "If you have faith the size of a mustard grain, you will say to this mountain, 'Move from here to there,' and it will move, and nothing will be impossible for you." Now, notice the theological twist here. Jesus didn't say you needed mountain-sized faith to move a mountain. He didn't say you needed to perfectly match the size of your obstacle with this equally massive amount of immediate, flawless faith. Nope, he said you just need faith the size of that tiny mustard grain. Why? Because the power to move the mountain doesn't actually come from the sheer volume of your faith. The power comes from the object of your faith, which is Jehovah. Even a tiny faith, as long as it's genuine, alive, and growing, just like that real black mustard seed, is entirely enough for Jehovah to step in and do the absolutely impossible on your behalf. When we think about this, it really helps to remember the historical context of the people who originally heard that famous illustration. The first-century disciples were still growing their faith. These guys weren't perfect, fully finished, flawless products. They were ordinary people, fishermen, tax collectors. They had only been walking with Jesus for a few short years. They had moments of intense doubt, like when Peter literally began to sink into the water. They argued with each other. They made mistakes. Their faith was very much still in active development. And I want that to be a huge reassurance to you listening right now. If your faith feels small today, or if you feel like you're still just kind of figuring things out and stumbling along the way, that is completely normal. Just like those early followers, your faith is a growing, living thing, and it takes time to cultivate. The core takeaway here is this beautiful, timeless promise: Jehovah will help you move mountain-like obstacles. Jesus assured his disciples back then that if they developed sufficient faith, Jehovah would help them overcome literally anything in their path. And that exact same promise echoes right down through the centuries to you today. Jehovah is going to help you do the exact same thing. If you cultivate that mustard grain of faith, if you water it, nourish it, and let it take root, Jehovah provides the immense mountain-moving power through his Holy Spirit. You don't have to carry the mountain on your own shoulders. You just have to have the faith to trust that Jehovah has the power to clear the path for you. So the crucial point is how we actually put this into action. How do we take this profound metaphor and apply it to real life? Well, we have a clear roadmap right here. Step 1, recognize obstacles. It always starts with honest recognition. You can't clear a path if you refuse to see what's blocking it, right? So take a hard, honest look at what's preventing you from moving forward. Step 2, remove them without delay. Once you spot that hurdle, don't just let it sit there. Rely on Jehovah's generous, unlimited spirit and take immediate, decisive, actionable steps to address it. Step 3, dedicate yourself. Once the path starts clearing, give your life to the one who has been waiting with open arms to welcome you into his family. And finally, step 4, get baptized. This is the beautiful, outward, public symbol of that inward dedication, made completely possible because you chose to push past the mountains with faith. Reaching that goal, actually dedicating yourself to Jehovah and getting baptized, I can tell you right now, it is simply the best decision you could ever make. Pushing past those deep-seated fears, overcoming those mountain-like habits, and choosing to accept Jehovah's loving invitation, that is going to bring a profound joy and an unbreakable sense of purpose to your life that absolutely nothing else in this world can equal. It's the beginning of a magnificent eternal journey with a God who will always, without fail, give you the spirit you need to succeed. So before you go today, I really want you to ask yourself, what mountain will your mustard seed of faith move tomorrow? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep cultivating that faith every single day. For more information, please visit jw.org. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and press bell icon to get the notification for new video. I'll see you in the next explainer.